and the scene is switched. That was all sudden and whatnot and such. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 9 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast about two brothers who are former WWE employees that happen to love video games and wrestling. So we talk about both topics. We don't care how well they mash or mix together because we like them both. And to us, it's like peanut butter and jelly on a wonderful sandwich. I don't know where I'm going with this. But this is the Super Grapple Bros podcast, and I am your host, Murpho, and I am joined by the other host,
DMurph.
Your also other host, DMurph.
Yep.
Yes, that's your name, right?
Si.
Shouldn't wear it out.
Si, senor.
Do you have any lemon pledge? Anyway, welcome everybody to episode 9. We are doing predictions abound. I think that's the proper word. We are doing a boatload of predictions. We are breaking down in the wrestling world the Extreme Rules pay-per-view event that is happening tomorrow.
Yep.
Possibly today if you're watching this on Sunday. I'm going to try and get this up on YouTube and SoundCloud and iTunes on Saturday 2 days. So that way you guys can hopefully hear our predictions before the event happens. But we're also going to transition into the video game world, and we're going to start talking about E3 because E3 is a week and a half away.
Yep. It's super close.
The biggest show of the year in video games. So we're going to be talking about what do we expect Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo to do at their press conferences and bring to the show this year, and what kind of games exclusive scoops are they going to do.
And they're not going to file bankruptcy. That's one prediction down.
I hope not. That would be awful and terrible and would ruin the entire week.
It would, but I'm predicting that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think so too. We're going to very quickly, más rápido, go through the week in review for the WWE, for Raw, SmackDown Live, and NXT. So
there was wrestling this week.
Yeah,
Some
there was
of it
wrestling.
was good. Some of it wasn't.
Yeah. Big news coming out of Raw for the most part was Sasha Banks has a tag team partner in a match at Extreme Rules. Yep. She is going to be teaming with Rich Swann to go up against Noam Dar and Alicia Fox.
Yep.
Alicia Fox.
Okay.
Fox. I can't stop saying that. Other big news was, as you said, the triple threat between Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and Bray Wyatt, which was really, really good.
That was good.
We got an interesting development in the Enzo Amore story. A lot of people have been saying that they believe that it's going to come out that Colin Cassidy, big old Cass, is going to be the one who beat up Enzo.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that it might be Dash and Dawson. There was an interview with Dash and Dawson. They were refuting the claims, even though they were spotted backstage last week, even though they're still out with injury.
But they still work there.
Yeah. But they still work there, so they still got to show up to work, even though they're hurt.
And technically,
spoiler alert, guys.
Technically, only one of them's injured. The other one could still work.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, guys. Even when the superstars are injured and they're not in the show, they still have to show up to the arenas and go on the road and be there because it's their job. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they beat up Enzo Amore. It just means that they're being good employees.
Yep.
But also, in addition to the Colin Cassidy stuff, to lead credence to it, Corey Graves is now doing a whole gossip investigative journalist type thing, I guess.
I wouldn't even say investigative journalism. It just seems like he's catching random things on his phone and then is like, oh, hey, I'm going to tell people or this person about this.
Yeah, so he went to Kurt Angle about something, and Kurt Angle said, like, this could ruin me if it got out.
Yeah, it's really weird. And he just, like, got up in the middle of a segment and walked out to do that and then just randomly came. It's just weird.
I think, and that had something to do with the whole Enzo Amore thing, I believe, right?
Well, it ended up dealing with Enzo Amore later because he had made some kind of comment where, like, they saw the video where they highlighted that Dash and Dawson were in the background of the interview, and he made a comment of, like, I'm sure Big Cass has already reviewed this or whatever, and then Cass came up being like, what did you mean by that? And he's like, I meant that you're looking into this, investigating it because he was your friend.
Yeah, and Big Cass was basically getting up in Corey Graves' face, feeling almost threatened and being defensive, saying that he didn't attack Enzo. And then he was like, are we good? Are we good? And he shook Corey Graves' hand, and Corey Graves was in fear, but potentially also curiosity, because somebody pointed out on the internet, I saw, this may be true, this may not be true, but I'm pretty sure I remember hearing Corey Graves say this, is that when Enzo Amore first got attacked, Corey Graves said, "I would love to shake the hand of the man who did this to Enzo."
Yeah.
And there's Colin Cassidy on Monday shaking Corey Graves' hand. And it seemed almost as if he gave Corey Graves an interesting look. So who knows, maybe it's WWE trying to be like subtle and put layers on this storyline, which is really cool and really interesting.
Let me just ask you, what do you think of that angle if they do actually go with that?
I feel really bad for Enzo Amore because I think his career's over without Big Cass.
I think it's incredibly dumb because Enzo and Cass are really over, especially with like the younger crowd and everything. And they've never held a tag title. People love these two together. They've never held a tag title at all. And like the closest they've gotten was being in a multi-man ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about, I mean, they had some shots, I think, every now and again against like Gallows and Anderson and stuff, but I mean, they haven't really gone that far, and they could be a huge money-making thing. People have been waiting for years since NXT for them to make it to the end and win titles, whether the NXT tag titles, WWE tag titles, whatever. People have been waiting for that. And they're just going to blow it off. And then it's also a matter of what are they going to do with Big Cass from there anyway.
You know, I don't agree with it. I think it might be better to just have them battle with Dash and Dawson because they had a good rivalry in NXT. And
But an issue I also see with that I have pointed out to people before is that, I mean, yeah, it would be a good storyline, but I mean, storyline-wise, psychology-wise, Dash and Dawson, they refer to themselves as the top guys.
Mm-hmm.
They come in and they beat people up and they go after titles and everything. What would it gain them to have the two of them, one of which being injured, going out of the way and attacking Enzo Amore of all people, with Big Cass being involved in all that, and them having nothing to do with the tag team titles or anything? Like, what would they have out of just randomly attacking Enzo Amore in the back?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I'm just
What's
saying,
the motivation?
like, that's part of why I think that's not going to be the case, because I mean, it's a way to get them back into the scene of tag team of, oh, this might be them, blah blah blah. But realistically, why would they as their personas do that? It gives they already beat them up in NXT. What do they gain out of beating them up on the main roster?
That they had an old beef with them in NXT, and maybe that's why. But it's leaning, unless it's Gallows and Anderson, it's leaning towards Cass.
Yeah,
and like I see why,
because
because Cass I think is going to do really good things in the WWE. He's got a bit of charisma, not as much as Enzo.
Mm-hmm.
He has a size. He has a wrestling ability. I just feel bad for Enzo because I think it's gonna be.
It's not gonna affect him good.
No, it's gonna like what is Enzo gonna do? Enzo is good as a. Enzo's got great charisma, but he's not a very big guy, and his wrestling ability is
it's good,
okay, but it's not enough. I feel like to stand out as somebody in like a mid card or top card position. He'll be stuck on the bottom of the card, I think, for a while, and then like, what are you gonna do with him?
The only thing I think would
unless
really
you give him another partner.
Well, I was gonna say the only thing I think could really save Enzo is if somehow this whole ordeal. I don't see how it would go this way, seeing as how Cass would have been attacking him. Is if he could somehow at some point end up turning heel and really crank it up and be like a real dirty heel, because then he's good on the mic. He doesn't have to do all the great stuff in the ring to get away with it, and he could just be mean and nasty.
Maybe.
And maybe get someone else to join up with him. Like, I doubt it, but maybe do something with like the Titus brand or something.
Maybe.
And that's the only way I could see him coming out of it good, because I mean, yeah, Enzo's good as a face, but as a face, with the way his personality is, it'd be mostly him just going out there losing over and over again, and then he'll start to go down in the eyes of fans, and it will just lead to disaster for him.
Well, we've talked about this a lot. We said we were going to go through everything really quick, and we ended up spending like a good 5 minutes on this whole Enzo
thing.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's really the only interesting thing out of Raw that's worth talking about.
Well, it was the most conversational part of Raw. And then we had, of course, Titus brand stuff. What was it? Titus faced Kalisto, won by pulling the tights, and Apollo was like, "Hey, you won by pulling the tights. Yeah, I'm happy for you because you won, but you pulled the tights." So like, little interesting dynamic there.
Yeah.
Bailey and Alexa Bliss, I think, did some stuff.
This is your life, Bailey.
Yeah, that was kind of lame. That did not hit home. Like, this is not the Attitude Era, and they're not Mick Foley and The Rock.
Oh, I see you got rid of it.
Or what? Oh no, it's up there.
Okay, but
it goes up there. I don't think. No, it's on. It's just not hearing us.
Okay,
I guess we're out of range.
But
you keep your mouth shut, Echo.
One thing I want to say though is, as not good as that whole thing was, as much as they may want to, you cannot blame that on Alexa. That thing was kind of doomed from the start.
Yeah, no, it just wasn't a good bit at all. It was not good.
I mean, it worked with The Rock and Mick Foley, partially because of things like Mick Foley was getting names wrong, and it was just making it extra hilarious.
They were also two guys in their prime who worked well off of each other, and it was hilarious.
And it was meant to be a comedy because they were tag
scripted.
Partners and everything.
Exactly.
But
anyway, and then the main event was Reigns versus Rollins. Reigns beat Rollins clean, which
one thing I want to point out about that match, the only thing I really want to mention about it is, does it bother anyone else that Seth Rollins has this new finisher and he hit it once on I don't even remember who in a match?
I think it was Bray Wyatt or Joe.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like someone in like kind of a squash match. That's how he debuted it, was hitting that move. And he
was in like a 6-man tag match or something, wasn't he?
He may have been. Yeah, it was No. It was a 6-man tag. I just remember it was like maybe it's something like that. But he did it to someone who was lower on the card than him, and he took his time to set it up and everything because they made it look like he was going to go for the pedigree, and then changed his mind and did that instead. And the thing that bothers me is he did that once. He's only done that move once in all the Raws and pay-per-views and stuff since then. Mm-hmm. He's literally only done it once.
What's your point?
But they keep teasing him going to do it in these matches and then never actually doing it like they did in this match.
Because they want to build it as a move that when he actually hits it, you're done.
But it's...
That's traditional wrestling storytelling 101, bro.
But I mean, long...
When you want to build and when you want to make a maneuver, feel like once it's hit, it's over. You have to tease it being hit and make the reason why somebody is losing is because they're not landing it. And had they landed it, they would have won. That's kind of what they did with actually, funny enough, that same move which Kenny Omega used which was a V trigger. His like ridiculous match with Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, 11 this year. He kept teasing it and tried to hit it about 4 or 5 times, but never connected with it on Okada, and he lost. The story of that is if he had hit the V trigger, the match would have been over. That's what they're trying to do, I think, with Seth Rollins right now. It's like, and also you've got him going up against guys like Roman Reigns, where like if you have him hit it and he pins and beats Reigns clean on a Raw, and you're trying to build up Reigns to take on a guy like Lesnar, that really like hurts Reigns. So in order to protect both guys, you have Rollins lose by not hitting the move. So that way you can say, well, if he hit the move, he would have won, and it doesn't hurt Reigns because Reigns didn't lose.
I can understand the logic, but at the same time, that also makes me go with the idea of, well, what's the point of him being such a big guy or like high up on the card if he can't win a match without hitting one move?
That's like the same thing for every wrestler, bro. Dennis, that's the same thing for almost every, unless it's a surprise roll up or something or some wacky finish. Everybody wins with their finisher. That's why it's called a finisher. Everybody wins with one move, maybe 2 if they've got 2 finishers, but that's about it.
But I'm saying like it's
wrestling.
Too much influence on the one move, but whatever.
That's because it's because it's a new finisher. They're trying to build up its importance.
Well, I'm saying too much on the fact that he needs that in order to win, but whatever. I think it's an interesting move. I'm just kind of on you can't 1 week on Raw have him randomly get into a skerfuffle with someone like The Miz or something and hit him with the move where it wouldn't really hurt The Miz to lose, especially if you have Dean Ambrose. It wouldn't hurt to have him do a match where he can hit it. I think what you're trying to argue here is just that you want to see him in more matches that he can win, so that way he's actually hitting the move and winning with the move. Not being put in matches with guys like Reigns where he can't hit it, where every time he goes for it, he misses it. Well, more of it's been like 2 months, and we've literally seen him do it once. And in every match since then, he attempts to do it and doesn't actually do it.
Well, maybe that's how he's gonna beat. Maybe that's how he'll eventually beat Joe. Maybe just, or like,
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think the whole point of that move is they're building it up to where if Rollins hits it, it's game over. So he can't hit. So if he's gonna go for it on somebody he's supposed to lose, he can't hit the move. He has to miss it.
And like I said, the way it seems to be being built up, at least the way you're describing it, is making it seem more like, Randy Orton has the RKO, and then when he needed to, had the punt for a while. But
yeah, but then it became illegal, so he didn't do it anymore. So now he still only has the RKO.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it seems like the kind of thing where it's whatever.
He only has the RKO. Reigns never beats anyone with the Superman punch. He beats them with the spear.
He's beating people with Superman punch.
Ambrose says dirty deeds. Yeah, like on a random Raw in a screwy way. Like, that's not what I'm talking about.
I understand, but like I said, it's just a point of he hasn't hit it, and he goes to set it up for 2 months and doesn't hit. And it's, like I said, it's just a matter of you can't just have a match for him to go over. Like, I understand having Reigns go over him and Joe going over him, but
like, they should be booking rounds better so that way when he can go for it and actually hit it. But like, when he's in a main event
I think it's mostly...
and he's not and like, say he's not supposed to win, or say they want him to win with that move, like, you can't have him be hitting that move against people where he's supposed to lose. Like, maybe they should be booking him better where he's in situations where he should win, but I think it's just the situation he's in right now where they're doing their best to protect his new finisher.
This is a better way to describe it. I think it's more of a, with the amount of times I've seen him not able to hit it versus times he is able to hit it, it's making me seem like, why is, like, okay, well, he's going to go for this move, and he's probably not going to hit it, and just, I don't know. I feel like as time goes on, the more he tries to do it and is unable to do it, whatever. Let's just move on.
I don't know why. I don't even sweat it. Like, it's not really a big deal to me. SmackDown Live, I don't even really remember what happened on SmackDown Live. The big story that came out of it was that we're going to be getting the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which is really cool. Pretty much all 5 contenders we basically had a number 1 contenders match for Naomi's Women's Championship on SmackDown. Chaos ensued. Charlotte put, I think it was Natalya through a table, and Shane McMahon came out and he's like, "This chaos is ridiculous. You know what? Let's not do this here. Let's instead make all of you battle at Money in the Bank for a Money in the Bank ladder match, and the winner will be the Money in the Bank, and thus technically the number 1 contender, or can hold on to the briefcase whenever." I think that's great because it's really good forward thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it spotlights the women. It gets all the women involved. I'm really looking forward to seeing them beat the hell out of each other with ladders. I think it's a great move. And great booking.
They're going to be doing a better job of having some kind of no DQ type of match than what Raw is doing for Extreme Rules for the women.
Mm-hmm. Just tracking back to Raw real quick. Big Stupid brought up he doesn't know why they won't let him go back to the curb stomp. Simple reason: kids try these moves out. Believe you me, we used to do it to each other when we were younger. We used to beat the hell out of each other. We would tombstone one another onto the couches and beds and everything, and like, those are dangerous moves. What they do is WWE doesn't want stories coming out of kids trying the curb stomp on one another and like causing concussions and breaking each other's necks, plus the whole rise in the whole concussion thing.
Yeah, that's
they
what
don't
I
want
mainly
moves
heard
that have
about
blows to the heads as well. That could like, they don't want stories coming out about how Rollins' move is suddenly maybe causing all these concussions or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I mainly
they're trying
heard
to stay away from
mostly the concussion thing.
Yeah, but they're trying to stay away from the concussions, and they don't want kids killing each other trying to emulate Seth Rollins.
Yeah, just reminds me of a kid who tried to do Jeff Hardy's swanton off the top of his apartment building using a garbage bag as a parachute. Just not good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, NXT.
Was there anything else that happened on SmackDown? I'm trying to remember.
Don't know. Didn't watch it.
Oh, God, you're making this difficult. I think Randy Orton came out, said some stuff about Jinder Mahal. I don't really care. What else happened? Nakamura teamed with Sami Zayn, which was really cool. Another person who Nakamura's had a historically great match with.
Yeah.
And they battled, I'm trying to think, Baron Corbin and not Dolph Ziggler.
Kevin Owens, maybe?
And Kevin Owens. And they won that one.
What did Uncle Alan do?
What did Uncle Alan do? What?
That's what Gallows and Anderson refer to AJ as.
Oh, I can't remember what AJ did. I think AJ maybe battled The Miz. Or no, there was Miz started off, I think, with Miz TV.
Miz is on Raw.
Oh, no, that's right. That's right. I don't know what AJ did. Maybe, I think AJ had a match with Ziggler, and Ziggler won.
Oh, interesting.
Ziggler actually won in order to, like, show the fact, or put in the minds of people, like, maybe AJ isn't a sure thing for this match, and maybe Ziggler isn't like the least likely to win. And that's pretty much all I can remember from. Oh, and also New Day debuted.
I heard about
on SmackDown. That. They came out basically. They just came out and
challenged Usos.
Challenged the Usos, and the Usos went all hardcore promo on them, and they were like, oh well, we found out that you guys have a new challengers at Money in the Bank. Now who could that be? Who? All that thing. Yeah. And turned out it was gonna be them.
Yeah, I heard someone complain, being like, so they get to just walk back in and just get a title shot right away. And I responded with, they are literally the longest reigning tag champions in all of WWE, WCW, anything that WWE owns. They're the longest reigning tag champs of the company. So I'm pretty sure they can do that.
Yes, they do. If the Hardy Boys can walk into WrestleMania and get a WWE Raw Tag Team title match, I'm pretty sure the New Day can walk in whenever they want and get a tag and be like, we want a shot at the tag titles. Okay, you're two-time champs, you're the longest reigning champs. You are one of our biggest merchandise sellers. You're great company men. Like, where's the bad quality of the New Day?
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure if they wanted, they could come in, get a title shot against Owens for the U.S. title, and if they win, claim the fucking Freebird rule on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I only got to see the highlights of the promo. I didn't see the whole one. Apparently, Big Stupid saying that it was really funny and that it was. I mean, the New Day they're great guys. Like, I can never talk positively enough about those three guys.
By the way, Big Stupid,
really cool too.
Are you actually Ryback, judging by the name?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's
not
talk about that,
just because
we gotta move.
He always talks
about
he's big
to talk
and
about.
calls
Let's not diverge onto Ryback.
Well, I went to go on to NXT.
Well, I was trying to finish up SmackDown. You wanted to? I know you don't watch SmackDown anymore, but we gotta at least go over that stuff. But yeah, apparently, can I finish what he was saying? Fine. He said that apparently it was really funny and it was so good that even like Jey Uso was trying to not laugh while cutting the promo and keep it under his breath, which I'm not surprised because Kofi E and Austin are hilarious.
You mean Kofefe?
Kofefe?
They're apparently calling him that in the back. Did you
Are they really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
like
freaking amazing.
Woods and them were like, yeah, just so you guys know, everyone's calling him that in the back now that's happened.
That's hilarious.
I've seen so many memes of Kofefe Kingston.
And he said, yes, I am. But we're going to move on from that. NXT. Stuff happened on NXT. Lots of stuff.
Yep. There was a very nice match between Pete Dunne and
very good.
Yeah.
Birch, that's the best match I've ever seen Birch put on. I mean, he's wrestling Pete Dunne, but that's also two guys in the British style of wrestling. And also, Birch really hasn't been given much in NXT to begin with.
Yeah, he did a little bit in NXT. He had literally one match in the UK tournament, which ended in a really weird way. But it was a good match. I like him, and it was a good match, and we'll see what they do.
And Dunn cut a little bit of a promo afterwards, if I remember right, didn't he?
Yeah, he basically said something along the lines of that he got the title that he deserves away from that boy, Tyler Bate, and that he's going to hold the title as it deserves to be held and all that kind of stuff.
Bruiserweight. God, I love Pete Dunne.
So good.
So good. We also got a promo from Bobby Roode, who was like, I'm having a celebration for my NXT Championship win. And it's not at the arena. You guys can all go to hell. I'm going to go celebrate, but I'll be back to NXT next week. Yep. We got
announcement of the women's triple threat elimination match for next week, or for 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm. We also got the Tommaso Ciampa promo,
yep.
which started things off.
Ooh, one thing I want to point out quickly. We've mentioned on this show before We've got a friend of ours, JJ, down in Full Sail.
Yeah, they went full screen on him.
Yeah, they went full screen on him, and I loved that he was wearing a DIY shirt that just had black tape over
just had the black
Ciampa.
tape over Ciampa. Yeah, if you guys watched NXT and saw the fan where they went like right on him and it had the DIY shirt and Ciampa's name was like electrical taped out and he was like booing Ciampa, that's our buddy JJ actually. Yeah. It's actually a friend of ours. But Ciampa basically came out and confirmed that his knee was messed up. Yep. And apparently he says that he messed it up a lot worse during the match.
But that could just be promos.
It could be promos because he didn't really show any signs of it being really, really bad.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something that needs to be at least
repaired or something like that.
And, yeah, we'll see.
He said that he knew that his reasoning was actually pretty good when you think about it. Like it played into the whole Well, it played into the whole like dirt sheet rumors and IWC thing where it was like, you know, a lot of you were saying after there were reports that I was hurt and I might not make it, a lot of you started coming up with replacement partners saying Gargano should have a replacement partner. And it was like, I am not so easily replaceable. But I put it back in my mind. But then the second I felt something pop and I knew I was hurt worse or injured, and that I was going to be away for a while, that all you people were going to want Johnny to replace me with somebody else. And I wasn't about to let that happen. If there's no Tommaso Ciampa, there's no Johnny wrestling. And that's why I beat the hell out of my best friend.
Yeah, it was nice.
So, pretty good.
I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different angle than I thought they were going to go with, but I enjoy it. We'll see where it goes from here.
Mm-hmm.
And one last thing that happened that I want to bring up is they did main event of Cassius Ono and Roderick Strong versus Sanity. And they had No Way Jose come back.
No way, Jose. No way,
and
Jose.
It's been announced
Jose. That no way, Jose. No way, Jose. I totally get up and like samba and do a train all the way around.
Good, go ahead. I'll just take over the podcast by myself.
Nope, you need your champ here.
Asuka will eventually be there, I'm guessing sometime before next WrestleMania, hopefully.
Yeah, Asuka's definitely going up to the main roster. I think it's going to be after SummerSlam. I think she's coming up after SummerSlam, probably going to Raw to strengthen that division, and will challenge whoever comes out of the mess of that championship picture is right now.
I don't know where she's going to go, because, I mean, they got a lot on Raw.
I mean, they could also wait a few more months. She's going to lose it to Ember Moon at TakeOver Brooklyn 3.
It's going to be that, and then eventually we're going to see them have their rematch because of the rematch clause and everything.
Maybe. We don't always see...
They've always done that with NXT, though, before they send someone up to the roster.
Not always.
Name one time when they've had someone lose their title and then before they get a rematch go up to the main roster.
Didn't that happen with... No, that happened with Neville.
No.
Yes.
No.
Neville lost to Sami Zayn, and then when
Neville lost... had a rematch on NXT with Sami Zayn.
Yeah, but he went up immediately after that.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's why we're going to see another match between them. Yeah. I didn't say it was going to be a while after
he's asking when are they going to go up to the main roster, not asking are they going to stick around in NXT for a little while after they get called up.
I understand, but I was just clarifying that I was stating that we will see them have that match and then at least long enough for them to have a rematch at some point before she moves up. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be until sometime after SummerSlam, and that's why I said probably before WrestleMania.
Hey Joker, hey Angel, how's it going? It's all cool. I just played some PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds yesterday, so you're here for the actual podcast stream. Mm-hmm. There's a way to push it back today. Yeah, Asuka could be a star on SmackDown, but I don't think the SmackDown women's division really needs it right now. I think the Raw women's division needs it.
I feel like SmackDown needs it more than Raw.
Really? Well, either way she goes, it's gonna help either division.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's we're moving on. Yeah, as you said, with the main event, No Way Jose is going to be joining forces with Roderick Strong and Cassius Ono against Sanity.
And now next week, they've announced that one of the matches is going to be No Way Jose versus Killian Dane.
Interesting.
Yeah, it should be good.
No Way Jose, I feel bad for him because big old Damo is probably going to kick the crap out of him. I mean, it's going to be an interesting match, but also we saw an interesting thing. They might only be doing the Sanity thing with Roderick Strong, with Cassius Ono at least involved for a little while because they showed to further the story him and Hideo shaking hands being okay. So I don't know if they're gonna maybe that's just gonna be a slow burn or maybe they're just keeping him occupied for the time being.
Well, I've stopped watching SmackDown because Jinder won.
But
they've got so much good stuff
I
on
think
there.
if you ask me, NXT is the better brand.
Yeah.
That's my favorite brand overall. I think SmackDown has the overall better brand, but Raw has the better main event going on right now.
As far as just
situation.
the term brand in general, my favorite brand in WWE right now is the United Kingdom Championship brand.
Anyway, all right. So that's the week in review. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to show. Well, before we go to Extreme Rules predictions, I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna show my card because we got to get into Universe mode. And I've got my Raw card all set up, so we're going to sim our way through, and I'm going to play the main event while we go through Extreme Rules predictions. So I'm going to hand you the notebook, so I'm going to be playing as we go, and you'll jot down the predictions.
Start the show, and then once it's done, started up, we could tell them what it is.
Yeah, starting the show, and we're going to start kicking off our Extreme Rules predictions. Now, as you guys know, the reason why I've had this championship belt, this WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt around my shoulder all week is because I am the predictions champion. Whoever gets the most predictions correct for every pay-per-view weekend, not just individual event, because the last time we did both TakeOver and Backlash, will get this championship. And they basically hold it until the next major event. And if there is a tie, champion's advantage, the champion retains. Mm-hmm. So I won the predictions for Backlash and for NXT TakeOver Chicago, not to brag or anything. Yep. But now we're on to Extreme Rules.
Part of why I don't like Jinder. He screwed me.
So yeah, here we go.
The first match that they have announced is Noam Dar and Alicia Fox versus Rich Swann and Sasha Banks.
I'm going to be a contrarian here. A lot of people are saying Swann and Sasha Banks are going to win. But, like, I don't know what's going on with the championship right now. With the women's championship. I don't know if Nia Jax is going to get herself involved. I don't know if Bayley's going to keep chasing if one of them wins. If one of them wins after this. I feel like they want to keep that program going. And I think they want to slow burn Banks-Bayley for WrestleMania. And I think they didn't just introduce this whole back and forth with Alicia Fox and get Noam Dar involved just to have Banks beat her real quick and just be done with it and putting them back away. I think they want to try and build Alicia. I think they're trying to build Alicia Fox up so that way they have another strong competitor in the women's division. And so that way also Noam Dar, another cruiserweight person, gets exposure on main shows instead of being stuck in 205 live hell. So I think we're going to get Dar and Alicia Fox to win. My prediction is Dar, Alicia Fox, and I think this program is going to continue for at least another month.
You see, here's my thing. I think you're probably right, but I think also with the way they're doing things, it's quite possible that Sasha and Rich Swann could win. Mm-hmm. Especially because I always like to go with the idea of, well, I mean, it would build the heels if they won, but you could also build the heels if they lose and then beat up on the faces. I don't think that'll necessarily be the case, but more or less just to be different, just to have somewhat of a different chance. I'm going to do Swann and Banks.
Okay. And yes, Joker, I do have to kiss it because it's mine. I won this. It's mine.
Yeah, and that's the only way he could get his rocks off. Anyway, next match. Cruiserweight Championship match. Neville, the champion, defending against Austin Aries in a submission match.
I'm still moving. Okay. Still moving away from you because that was uncalled for.
So this is now a solo show.
As I drop my championship and I'm shaking the camera. All right.
You want to do this, or do you want to?
Let's do this first because you already brought up the match. This is one of the tough ones. Like Extreme Rules, it's actually there's a fair amount of matches where I just don't know who's gonna win.
Same.
You could argue Neville, and with help from TJP. Like, I want to say Austin Aries is finally going to win it because he's come so close. But I feel like they've got TJP involved. They've got Jack Gallagher involved. And they might decide to get Noam Dar involved if he's going to get more exposure.
Somewhat gotten Tony Nese involved.
Like, I feel like there's going to be some big brawling type, like, match. Like, 5 or 6-way match for the Cruiserweight Championship at SummerSlam or something. Or, like, at the next show, and it's like I want to say Austin Aries, but I almost feel like TJP is gonna like come in and help Neville win because Neville has promised TJP a championship match so long as he keeps, helping him out. So why wouldn't TJ, and like if it's a submission only match, Neville can't lose by disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
It's only submissions. So say Aries has the last chance to grab Neville, TJP can come out and attack
I do want
Aries.
to point out that this last week on Raw, Austin Aries did beat Neville by submission with the last chancery.
That helps me that helps me make me feel. Normally, whoever wins the last match before a pay-per-view tends to lose.
Sometimes.
You know what? I said Aries last time, and I was right by like technicality. I think Neville's gonna continue to hold on to it. I think when I was originally looking at this card and making the predictions, I went with AA Austin Aries because I want Aries to be the champion. And there's a difference between what my heart wants and what I think is going to happen. My heart wants Austin Aries to win, but my brain is telling me that I think TJP is going to help Neville win, so that way TJP can be like, when are you going to give me my championship shot? And then eventually Neville's not going to give it to him, and he's going to be like, you know what, I want my opportunity. Aries is going to want his opportunity. Gallagher's going to want it, and we're going to get some sort of scramble match. So you know what, I'll go with Neville.
See, this is where it makes it difficult for me because I'm thinking Neville, but I want to make it slightly more different. Especially with the matches coming up, I feel like we're going to have similar views.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what?
Are you starting to make picks different for me just so that way we have a winner and a loser?
Well, I've been making some picks different just that way it could be a little bit more varied as opposed to, okay, if one team wins this match, then this person wins. But if the other team wins this match, then the other person wins.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Neville as well.
All right.
Because I think he's going to win.
Before we move on, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to transition over to WWE 2K17. And as you guys see, I've got my Raw card up. As we do every week, if you come watch us on YouTube or check us out live on Twitch, we run through a Raw and SmackDown every week in Universe mode. I control Raw, Dennis controls SmackDown, and we basically sim through the entire card up until the main event.
Big Stupid has a good idea. We should alternate who picks first.
Yeah, I'll let you make the next first pick. Okay. Good idea, Big Stupid. Thank you.
Oh, stupid.
And hey, Edge, how's it going? Good to see you back from your PUBG run with Wes last night. But anyway, regular shows, we simulate everything but the main event. And then on the regular shows, we do full-on sims, like where we watch the AIs battle, and then we play the main events.
Yep.
So anyway, opens with a self-promo by Finn Balor. Good for that. Rusev takes on Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins wins. Now, this right here, what we've got is we do not have a number one contender for the tag team titles, the Raw tag team titles. The Hardy Boys have been beating everybody. What? Are you pointing at the Ascension or something?
Pretty sure the Ascension were the number one contenders.
Were they?
Thought so.
Were they?
Thought so.
Okay, maybe they are. I think you're right. Yeah, you're right, because I think I made the end of the rivalry between the New Day and the Ascension for the number one contenderships, and they won last week.
We'll see. Could be the same thing.
Best
2 out of 3.
Well, what I was going to do is I was going to do a tournament where these two were going to face each other, and then I had American Alpha and the Hype Bros going up against each other, and the winners of those matches would have the right
to do that.
Yeah.
I just know that they won a match, and I think they may have fought, not for the titles, but fought the Hardys last week or whatever and lost, so.
Yeah, I don't remember them being number one contenders, so we're just going to go with this. If I am wrong, then people correct me in the chat or in on YouTube or whatever in the comments, and I will the Ascension will eventually get their opportunity if I am wrong. But anyway, it's the winner of this match and the later match will face these off next week on Raw, and then they will battle the Hardy Boys at not Extreme Rules, but the pay-per-view after that, because Extreme Rules is next week for us.
Yep.
So New Day advances, defeats the New Day. Brock Lesnar has a promo. He called out John Cena and beat John Cena in the promo as their rivalry heats up. This right here, this is also to determine a new number one contender after Bayley and Sasha Banks go one-on-one this Sunday at Extreme Rules for the Women's Championship, because I have 3 matches I'm going to do, three of my title matches. Whoever wins this match, the team that wins this match will face off against each other one-on-one to determine a new number one contender.
Very nice.
And Tamina and Alicia Fox beat Becky and Asuka. Wow. So Tamina or Alicia Fox will be the number one contender for the Women's Championship on Raw.
I just want to point out, with how Asuka's been doing on Raw since you drafted her, maybe she should stay in NXT.
She's been losing left and right. I'm trying to legit, I'm trying to put her in situations in this universe mode where she can be like challenging and have the championship, and she keeps losing. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, Tamina and Alicia Fox, one of those two, will battle Bayley or Sasha Banks for the Women's Championship next. Roman Reigns has got a promo next. Shinsuke Nakamura came out and interrupted the promo, but Roman Reigns won the promo, it looks like. Yes, he did. And we've got a brand new rivalry going on. Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho, they've mixed it up a little bit. Sami's been beating Jericho, and Jericho doesn't appreciate it that much. We got to return a heel Jericho, I believe. Sami Zayn wins again. He's got the momentum.
Beats Canada.
And then here is the other semifinal number one contendership match.
You know it, bro.
American Alpha versus the Hype Bros. The winners will face the New Day for the right to be the number one contenders to the Hardy Boys title. And it's going to be the Hype Bros beat American Alpha.
Everyone that's from NXT you've got on the show
what is
floundering.
What is going on right now? Oh, God. Sorry about that. That is... I have to... No. I reject that call. I have to turn that call. Sorry, I have to turn my ringtone off. That is a problem. That was the girlfriend who I told her that we would be recording a podcast at 3 o'clock.
Good job.
So, I'll call her back once we're done. But I don't know what the hell's going on. What is my universe mode right now? Maybe this game took into account that Mojo Rawley is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner this year.
Maybe they just took into account NXT stats.
I don't know. Well, their ranked overall, I think, is higher. But anyway, we're going to have the Hype Bros versus the New Day for the number one contendership to the Raw Tag Team titles next week. Bayley called out Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks won the promo battle before their big match. And then the main event here is a fatal 4-way of Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, Roman Reigns, and Austin Aries, the men involved in the Intercontinental and Universal Championship matches.
Mm-hmm. So you make it go bye-bye.
Yep, I'm going to make this go bye-bye so I can pick who I'm going to play as. You guys will find out, obviously, in a few seconds once you see me controlling the person. But we're going to leave it up to a surprise. Ooh, nope. There we go. Okay. And you go ahead, and we're going to move on to the predictions.
And remember, I get to make the first prediction this time.
Yes, you do.
Although I have a feeling we're both going to pick the same person, because the next match is Dean Ambrose defending the Intercontinental Championship match against The Miz in a match where if Dean Ambrose is disqualified, he loses the Intercontinental Championship, which bothers me that of all the pay-per-views you're going to do this with Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose! You do it at Extreme Rules. Like, the guy who right now on the roster is most known for getting extreme. Really?
I wish I just had on hand the meme of Jackie Chan going, like, why? Like, Dean Ambrose, CZW guy, always known for extreme matches. You put him in a match at Extreme Rules, and I mean, I guess maybe that's the point of Miz being a jerk, but it's like,
it was Kurt Angle's decision.
But like, yeah, exactly.
And he had that street fight with Shane McMahon, so he doesn't have a problem with that.
It's like, I've got a great idea. Let's take this guy who's known for like hardcore wrestling at a hardcore pay-per-view. Let's put him in a match where if he gets disqualified or does anything extreme, he will lose his championship.
Yeah. But I'm going to go and pick The Miz. Because of this whole DQ thing, and they've been doing things like The Miz purposefully attacking Elias Sampson to get Dean Ambrose disqualified. I see it as worst case scenario, Maurice will come in and slap The Miz or something to give him the win, and he will get the title.
I think that's likely. Big Stupid said that I'm worse than the Raw writers with booking new talent.
Yeah, way to go.
I'm going to agree with you, actually. I think I'm going to go with The Miz as well. Miz, I think, has done a lot more with the Intercontinental Championship than Ambrose has done, which saddens me because I really like Ambrose.
Well, I partially feel that's because they haven't given Ambrose much.
Yeah, but like also I like Miz has just been on fire of late. Give him another Intercontinental Championship run. He's at this rate.
That'll bring him up to 7.
Yeah, he's getting close to Jericho's record.
The only person who will hold it more than him is Jericho.
Yeah, which will be cool. And then maybe if Jericho comes back, maybe you put him in an Intercontinental Championship rivalry with The Miz about that. That would be a cool thing.
Maybe.
But that's me getting ahead of myself in fantasy booking.
Do you want to start the entrances?
Let me hold on. But yeah, I'm going with Miz. I think it was raised very interestingly to me that, like, you remember the Christian and Randy Orton rivalry?
Yeah.
When Christian intentionally like got Randy Orton to kick him in the nuts so that way he could win the championship, and Randy Orton lost. I think that we're gonna see a similar situation like that, where Miz is basically going to put like, it looks like maybe Ambrose is about to win or something, and Miz is gonna do something that's just gonna trigger Ambrose, and without even thinking, he's gonna do something to get himself disqualified.
Yeah, especially being in the situation of Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm. And then I think after he wins, probably very similar, because I think this happened with Christian Randy Orton, Ambrose is gonna be like, it's Extreme Rules, and I won the match, and I'm upset, and he's just gonna beat the crap out of the Miz after that. I think with weapons and stuff like that.
True.
Okay, so now we're gonna switch over and do entrances for the match as we continue our predictions.
Mm-hmm. Do you want?
Let me do something real quick.
Do you want me to do 2 in a row since you went first twice, or do you want to just continue from here? Because if I do 2 in a row, then I will get first pick on the main event.
It doesn't matter if you get first pick, because I know who I'm going with in the main event. You can go first. Since I went first twice, you can go first twice, then I'll go first, and you can go first.
Okay. You know what? I'll let you go first on this one. Because I already know who I'm picking on this regardless.
What is it?
The next match on the list is Alexa Bliss defending her Raw Women's Championship against Bayley in a kendo stick on a pole match. You could do something big for the women in the women's division at Extreme Rules. Have them have the first ever women's Extreme Rules match in WWE or something along those lines. And you give them a kendo stick on a pole match.
Which is kind of lame, but I mean, at least they're letting him do something extreme like that instead of having a regular match.
Yeah.
And there's a story behind it too, so
a lame story, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why my Elgato isn't deciding not to work anyway, but it's fine having this in the background without the audio for this week.
Yep.
We got a lot of talking and predictions to do. Anyway, what was I gonna say? This is another thing with like the Cruiserweight Championship match. My heart says Bayley, because I really want Bayley to have that championship and win it back. But I think Alexa's going to win it and hold on to it. I think it's going to be Bliss. And I think Bayley's going to have to chase for a while. Or we will get Nia Jax coming back and being like, hey, where's my championship opportunity?
Yeah, I am 100% going with Bliss, because not only do I think she is great, but I think they have big plans for her, and I do not see her losing the title already.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss.
The next match after that is the Hardy Boys versus Cesaro in a Raw Tag Team title match in a steel cage. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think with the way they're going with the storyline, I think Cesaro and Sheamus are going to win. I think with this new attitude they've got, with everything they've been going on with, the Hardys have beaten them in tag team and singles competition every single time they face them. And this is going to be the first time where we've got these two guys in the ring at the same time, having a chance to work them over. I think Cesaro and Sheamus are going to come out and win, and I think it's going to continue the storyline at least a little bit longer. And hopefully that stupid stuff with TNA will have been done, and they'll get so badly beaten this match it'll lead to the broken gimmick.
Man, our entire predictions are gonna come down to that first match. Because I have to agree with you.
Now do you see why I was saying that I was trying to change it up a little bit?
Yeah, because, like, I agree with you. I think, like, God, I want... pretty much, guys, watch the opener and you will know who won the championship, because I agree with him 100%. Like,
we're going to be a little different on the last match.
Okay. The storyline... The storyline has just been building. Like, they turned heel so that way they could finally win. And I think Cesaro and Sheamus need to take the titles off the Hardys, and the Hardys need to chase it. And hopefully WWE has the rights for the broken gimmick, and that loss will trigger Matt and Jeff to become a little broken.
And it doesn't hurt the fact that, Cesaro and Sheamus have been getting a lot more mic time than the Hardys have been having. So, but yeah, we both say that, and with that belt there on the screen right now,
Yep.
we're gonna move into the main event, the Fatal 5-Way. They say it's an Extreme Rules match, but it would be Extreme Rules anyway with the way they've done Fatal whatever matches. For the number one contendership for the Universal Championship, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe versus Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you get to pick first, and I already know who you're going to pick and who I was going to pick.
Yeah, I mean they've been pegging him to take on Brock Lesnar, and there are rumors that whoever wins this, it's not going to be a short program; it's going to be a one and done thing because they want allegedly to have Strowman battle Lesnar at SummerSlam, which would be entertaining as hell.
Mm-hmm. They were hoping for it, I think, at this pay-per-view, but then Strowman got injured, so...
Yeah, so... I'm betting, because of that promo that Paul Heyman cut, and because of how big they are on him, I think it's going to be Finn Balor.
Yep.
I think what's going to happen is Finn Balor's going to win. He will take on Brock Lesnar. He will be more than game for Lesnar and will stand up to him and will have a chance to win and beat him. But then, just as he's about to win, Bray Wyatt's going to go, a boogity, boogity, boogity. Sister Abigail, which leads to, and then boogity, 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 disappear. And we're going to see, and then it's like a disqualification where Finn Balor wins, but Lesnar retains. And then Lesnar just beats the hell out of Balor maybe afterwards. Or maybe, because like you can't make Lesnar look weak when you do it either. So like, yeah. I think it's maybe Lesnar looks like he might be a little weak, and then boogity boogity in comes Wyatt to cause some commotion to break it up, and then they go off and battle for a while. But you've got this other guy where it seems like he may have Lesnar's number, so maybe it's not just Reigns who can beat him. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it'll be something like, for this match, Joe and Rollins, I don't think they're done. I think they're going to keep battling. I think they're going to take each other out. And then you will have Reigns, Wyatt, and Balor battling. It turns into Wyatt versus Reigns. Maybe Wyatt goes for Sister Abigail. Reigns pushes him off, spears him, goes for the cover. And like you said, I agree with you completely on this. Like probably like a 1-2 and a coup de grace onto Reigns' back through to Wyatt. Causes Reigns to roll off to the side. Balor covers Wyatt 1, 2, 3. And that also gives Wyatt even more motivation to boogity boogity on in with his match with match is happening. With Lesnar, because it was Balor who pinned Wyatt.
Yeah. Since I'm going to be different, to make it a little bit different, because I'm thinking it's going to be Balor too, because a lot of people want to see that. But I'm going to go with, just to be different, I'm going to go with, and you're going to find this kind of odd, I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt.
Really?
Yes.
Mr. Boogity Boogity?
The reason I'm going with Bray Wyatt is because not only has he been doing a bunch of promos on pretty much everyone, but also specifically the Brock Lesnar, saying that he is the only one who can slay the beast. And since he's been moved to Raw, like, he was getting a big shot on SmackDown. They put the title on him and everything. But as soon as they moved him to Raw, he has been unstoppable. Like, I can't think...
Has he been winning all of his matches?
The only match I could think of that
Joe's
he
won
has...
his matches, too.
The only match I could think of he hasn't won since he's moved to Raw was this triple threat match this last week on Raw. And that was with Samoa Joe winning. And that was a triple threat match. But every other match, he's won, and he's come out at the end of a couple Raws, and he's just been destroying people. He's hit pretty much everyone that's involved in the match with his sister Abigail at some point over the last month. I don't necessarily think he's going to win, but he's who I'm going to pick because of the fact that if anyone's going to beat him other than Finn Balor, I think it might be Bray Wyatt, just because they're putting so much heat on the guy right now.
It could be. It's just another situation of Wyatt being put into a situation where he's doomed to fail, though.
It could be, but I feel like they're changing that up a little bit. Because, I mean, like I said, when they've done it with him on SmackDown and stuff, it's mostly him having promos and stuff like that. And even on the weekly shows, he would lose in some kind of way, and then he would go to the pay-per-view and he would lose. But with him now, he's been getting a lot more promos. They've been throwing him all over the card. They've been putting him in matches, and he's been standing tall at the end of most Monday Night Raws since he came back.
It's a very good call. I mean, people have been saying that he is a dark horse to win, and Joe's been looking actually pretty strong as well in the weeks leading up. So, like, it could also very well be Samoa Joe.
I feel like they're gonna save the final match between, for now at least, between Samoa Joe and Finn Balor for SummerSlam, and who knows, or Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins, and then they might get someone else involved in it after that.
I will say, you have kind of convinced me. You do kind of make me believe that Balor is actually going to be the one who wins. I mean, not Balor, that Wyatt is going to be the one who wins, because you do raise a very good point, and it would be a quick one-and-done thing, and we do currently have a kind of, I guess he's a face Lesnar, sort of, so, like, we kind of have what we need there.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tweener where he kind of acts like a bad guy, but everyone loves him so much.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's just, also, they've been putting so much on the guy, like, a good example is, I think it was this week or whatever, they were doing, interviews with a bunch of different people, with like Samoa Joe about the triple threat match that night, and in the middle of that promo he's like, and as for Bray Wyatt, and he went to start talking about him, and they just cut to Bray Wyatt, and he's like, you don't know what you're talking about, Joe. You can't defeat Brock Lesnar. The only person who can is me, and I'm gonna prove it to you.
Wow.
And doing like everywhere you look, he has been there, and he's been on point with his promos and everything. I think if it's not going to be Finn Balor, I think it might be Bray Wyatt.
Cool. So we have a situation where either one of us will be 2 up or we will be tied.
No.
And if we're tied, I win.
We may also have a situation where one of us is
just 1 up, because we could both be wrong on the main event. That is true.
But I mean,
because Rollins could win,
2
Reigns
up.
could win, or Joe could win.
We
I said 2 up.
We could have 1 up. We could have 2 up. We could be tied. We could have, I don't know.
Big Stupid thinks it's going to be Seth Rollins, who's another interesting guess. You could do a one-off with Seth Rollins. I just think he's not done with his stuff with Samoa Joe yet.
Yeah. And I don't think he's done with his stuff with Samoa Joe, but I feel like whatever happens, we're going to see like Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. We're going to see Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam. And we're going to see Brock Lesnar versus someone, maybe Roman Reigns, maybe Braun Strowman, maybe a triple threat for all we know at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Yes, we will.
So, I'll actually open this back up to, once again, go over the predictions as of right now. For Noam Dar and Alicia Fox versus Rich Swann and Sasha Banks, you've got Dar and Fox, I've got Swan and Banks. Neville versus Aries, we both have Neville. Ambrose versus Miz, we both have Miz. Alexa versus Bayley, we both have Alexa. Hardy Boys versus Sheamus and Cesaro, we both have Sheamus and Cesaro. Reigns versus Balor versus Rollins versus Joe versus Wyatt, you have Balor, I have Wyatt.
Okay.
And that basically does it for wrestling this week.
Yes. But we also have a lot to talk about in the video game world. We're gonna quickly go through, I believe, the video game news, because there's a couple stories, but then we're going into E3 predictions for the big 3.
So first thing I will bring up, story that we do basically every week. It's about as much of a mainstay as
Overwatch
Monday
story.
Night Raw.
Our weekly Overwatch story.
Overwatch. Not only do they have the anniversary event going on, which is so good, I am enjoying it very much, but we've also got, on top of that, they just announced and technically released this week a new map on the Horizon Lunar Colony. That's right. Overwatch is going to the moon, and there's a section of it where you will be able to be in moon gravity.
Ooh.
And if you are lucky enough to have the game for the PC, they currently have it on the PTR, the public test region. So if you wanted to go and give it a try, you could actually go and play it now. And according to Jeff Kaplan, I believe when they officially released the game on like the PS4 and such, that they're going to go with a possible event which would feature them doing arcade modes where you could play pretty much any level with the moon gravity. Which will be very interesting to see what people do in that.
Yes.
But it also leads to speculation that I know we had talked about on an earlier podcast that someone had leaked information about new heroes that are going to be coming out potentially over the next 18 months or whatever. And one of the characters that was mentioned, which I'm going to bring up to you, see if this rings a bell. They said the name was going to be like Brio or Bree, something like that, started with a B, saying that it was going to be a stealthier, smaller character, probably more of a support character.
First time hearing of it.
Well, we talked about it before on the podcast a while ago. That may have just been a code name because one of the things that they brought about with this whole thing was like a breaking update of first time getting information from the lunar colony in a while. And you've got what's their names? You've got Winston's name on a list of people of chimps that aren't there because of the fact that let's see if he wins. Because of the fact that he fled to Earth. But they've got another name there.
And Roman Reigns wins.
Roman Reigns wins.
Steals the victory. Kevin Owens had a pinfall on his Intercontinental Champion opponent, Austin Aries, with a pop-up powerbomb, but Reigns with a spear out of nowhere takes out Owens and then pins Aries, who had speared earlier in the match. So
right there.
Yep. Not good for Aries. Very good sign potentially for Reigns.
As I was saying though, they have on the list of people who are not contained. They had Winston's name, but they also had the name of another animal as a part of that. Another test subject, someone named Hammond. Which one thing that a lot of people pointed out that I loved is it's an area where they were doing genetic testing on animals. John Hammond from Jurassic Park. Yeah. And he is apparently a chimpanzee that the different emails they showed between the different scientists make it seem as though he's been escaping from his cell. People have said that they saw him out of his cage for over a week and hearing strange noises in the ductwork. So it sounds like the smallest person that is stealthy, which matches that description we've heard before. So a lot of people are thinking that this Hammond may actually be the next character that they come out with.
Do you think they're ready to unveil him with the map?
They might be, I don't know.
Do you think this map is going to fully release in this character at the end of the anniversary event? Maybe a way to maybe what's the word I'm looking for? Bookend the
possibly
first year of the anniversary event?
I don't think they're going to do it at the end of this event because, like I said, right now the map is only in the PTR right now, and I feel like if they brought him out, they'd bring him with the map. But also, he's not even in the PTR; he's not in the public test region, which I believe they've done with all of the they've done with all of the characters they've released so far with Anna and Sombra and Orisa and all of them. They've all gone to the public test region before going out, and he hasn't even been there yet. This map is going there, so I think it's going to be in an event that has to do with that. Maybe not right away because rumor has it still that the first one that's going to come up is going to be Doomfist. But who knows?
Well, I think if they're teasing the lunar map that's possibly tied into him, they'll put him out before Doomfist.
Yeah. But more about Doomfist when we get to E3.
Yes.
There's also PlayStation is going to be coming out with a gold PlayStation 4. Which will be quite interesting. I freaking did it again.
What did you do?
I hit the wrong button.
You just accidentally simulated it, didn't you? You were just you're just messing yourself up.
Yeah. So apparently, we'll just go quickly through. This is apparently what happened on SmackDown Live. There was a promo by Dolph Ziggler and Tyler Breeze came out. There was a middle card promo by The Miz. Alexa Bliss lost in a match to Natalya. Anderson and Gallows beat the Golden Truth.
You keep your mouth shut, Alexa. Keep your mouth shut, Echo. Stop it. Stop it. It took almost the entire match, but what are you doing? Why are you still talking? Shut up, Echo.
The Revival beat the Wyatt family. Number one contenders for the tag titles beat the Wyatt family.
Ooh.
Nice. We had Oh,
Well, that's a thing.
Sheamus
That's a thing.
beat his tag partner Cesaro. Apparently,
That's a thing.
I don't think they're technically stable in.
It's
this
all decided.
game.
That was the overtime extra match from the 7-match series. Sheamus won, everybody. Sheamus is better than Cesaro.
Right,
Close
so
it.
I guess he's gonna get an intercontinental.
Bring out the gavel.
shot.
Bring out the gavel. Case closed.
Paige had a self promo. I don't think WWE wants that anymore. And main event: AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe versus Bobby Roode, and AJ won over Roode. That would have been a good match.
That would have been a good match to play if I didn't accidentally simulate the entire card. Who's hosting? Who's that? Dr. Strange 1930. Thank you so much for the host. I appreciate it.
Damn it. So upset about that. All right, well, that's done, I guess.
Yeah. All
What's
right.
done is done.
Let's run an NXT simulation in the background as we talk. We'll do it. We'll put it up here. I'll make this a little smaller so that way our heads aren't.
All right, let's see what the show is. I'm gonna do it the right way this time.
Yeah, fixing Twitch scenes in real time. Why isn't this minimized? There we go.
All right, so
Minimize that a little bit. That way you guys can watch
show.
a little bit of NXT. We're Universe Mode, which we just let sim. Doctor Strange 1930, thank you also for the follow. I appreciate it, my man.
But
So now, yeah, that's was that all in
not
gaming
quite.
news?
A couple quick things to go over. Ubisoft has changed their logo for the first time in 14 years.
Ah, yes.
It looks weird. It kind of looks like what you do as a test drawing, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Far Cry 5, they've released some more info about that, such as they've given more information about some of the characters in the game, and also have announced that the entire game will be co-op. Well, at least you can do co-op the entire game, which I enjoy. Maybe we could do something about that at some point. Try the game out together, but
Maybe.
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then didn't they also reveal the name of the protagonist?
They may have. I did not catch that.
I saw it. I guess I saw the image with his name. I just can't remember what the name is, but I believe our main character for Assassin's Creed Origins has a name.
We're good. How are you, Doctor Strange?
Yes, we're very good. Thank you for coming into the chat and giving the host the follow and watching the podcast.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
If you just got here, I'm not worried about you catching up because you've got that whole eye thing. So anyway, and also a nice transition. Sony will once again be bringing their E3 press conference to movie theaters. So if you want to watch their press conference on a nice big screen, there are going to be movie theaters airing that.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get into E3.
Yes. E3 itself. So E3 is just about a week and a half away. I am sad that I will not be there this year, unfortunately. Money's a little tight. This will be only the second year since I think 2010 that I have not been in Los Angeles for E3. But
I've got you beat on yours not being at E3 though.
Yeah, but it's been it's always a fun time. I'm gonna miss it, but I'm still gonna check in and watch and check out all the press conferences. And we're starting off the podcast. We're gonna do for this podcast. We are going to be doing some predictions this week, and we're gonna do some more next week. Next week we're gonna do third party stuff. So we're gonna talk about EA Play, which is technically still a part of E3, no matter what EA wants to say.
Yeah. Bethesda.
Bethesda, their press conference, Ubisoft's press conference, and then
PC gaming show.
The PC gaming show, and then like a bunch of other various stuff, like what people like Atlas or Capcom or what those guys are doing.
Yeah.
But we're starting off today with the big three. So we are breaking down Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. What we know. I think we have information on what they might bring, but mostly predictions and guesses about what we think they're going to bring to the table this year.
Especially since I like to try and do surprises.
Yeah, breaking down like where their consoles are at the moment and what they need to do, hopefully, to have a successful show this year. We're gonna start in the order and proceed in the order in which they're going to occur, these press events. So we're gonna kick things off with Microsoft. So I'll let you start that. For those of you who want to know, Microsoft's press conference is going to be Sunday this time, not Monday.
Yeah, they changed it up.
Sunday, June 11th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, LA time. That's 5 o'clock Eastern. For those of you in England, in the UK, that is 8 p.m. your time.
Yep.
Or 10 p.m. I'm sorry, 10 p.m. your time. I was wrong. 10 p.m. your time. It's 5 hours. from the East Coast, 10 p.m. your time.
Yep. Honestly, I don't really know too much other than. By the way, I love that we've got 2 different tag team championships on this.
Yeah, I need to fix that.
I know they're probably gonna be showing some stuff for Crackdown 3. Which
are they?
Honestly...
I thought we weren't sure if Crackdown 3 was in development. Helm was actually going to ever come out.
I thought I heard a while ago that they are developing Crackdown 3.
They are, but I don't know if we're seeing anything.
Well, a lot of people think we might see or hear something about it.
Okay.
At this year's press conference.
I hope so, because that thing's been in development for a while. We haven't heard anything about it for a while.
Yeah, that's one thing that I find odd is that, me personally, is I never really saw the big thing with Crackdown, and with the first one, from what I heard, a lot of people didn't necessarily enjoy it, and a lot of people bought it for, what was it, beta for one of the Halo games or something like that, because it came with it. But apparently the second one was good, and people got on board with that.
I heard the first one was good, and the second one wasn't.
I don't know. But then again, that's people I was dealing with at GameStop, so people have a lot of different views there. Yeah, one thing that I'm kind of interested to see is if they say anything at all about the next Halo.
I think they will have an announcement for Halo 6. I feel like they have to. Not that I think anybody, and this is coming from somebody who played Halo 2 and Halo 3 religiously in college. Hundreds, if not thousands of hours were poured into those ranking systems, and buckets upon silos of salt were let go out there. And I don't think anybody really cares that much about Halo anymore. I think Halo 4 was all right, and I feel like Halo 5, not a disaster, but was a disappointment. And I feel like the momentum from that series is just gone.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's also because of the fact that you had Bungie behind it, and then they were like, we don't want to do Halo anymore.
So they moved on to Destiny, and now we got 343.
Yeah. So I think it's more or less like the people who wanted to do different things with Halo stayed behind and were working on it, while Destiny was like, Bungie was like, we told the story we wanted to, we're done. Mm-hmm. And it's these people being like, oh, well, we had other ideas, and they're there trying out their ideas, and they might not be as good.
Yeah, so we do know that Halo 6, though, is going to be focused on solely Master Chief, because for some reason, 343 made the same mistake in the second trilogy that Bungie made in the first trilogy, and they decided to not make Halo 5 all about the Master Chief, and they gave you other playable characters.
Yeah. Like the Arbiter.
Yeah, well, the Arbiter wasn't that bad.
He was cool, but I didn't enjoy playing it necessarily.
So there's Halo 6, but I feel like they need to come out with something else. I don't know what else it's going to be. They're obviously going to talk about Scorpio, but from all the news that came out of the Destiny event, on how...
That's leaning more PlayStation.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, from all the news they were saying about the PlayStation event, is that not only is a PS4 Pro not capable of running 4K 60 frames or running any games at 60 frames per second, word on the street is that Project Scorpio might not be able to run a lot of games on 60 frames per second, or Destiny. So it's like, how powerful these machines really, and are they going to come in at a decent, reasonable price point? Because we're definitely going to get a price on Scorpio because it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put it up at $600, which I think is a death sentence. Because I think people who
didn't learn from the PlayStation 3.
Or the Xbox One itself.
Well, I'm saying that's why they had done so good against the PS3, because their console was not $600 freaking dollars, and the PS3 was. And once people were finally able to afford the PS3, that's when it started blowing up.
Yeah, but it's like, at that point, when consoles are costing that much, it's like, if you really want that kind of quality, you're just gonna... Why not just sink the money in for a gaming PC at that point?
Yeah, exactly.
That's too much for the average consumer for a video game console to me. I've never been big on the whole PS4 Pro and the Project Scorpio, whatever the real name's going to end up being. I feel like this whole mid-generation console thing is not big. I do feel like technology and PC gaming and PC technology over the last couple of years has really exploded in what it can do and popularity, that I feel like maybe they were forced into this. But I don't know. I feel like maybe PC gaming is finally starting to get too fast for console manufacturers to keep up. which is a whole nother topic of discussion.
I mean,
But
part of the reason I feel like consoles will be around for a while, though, and PC isn't really going to take it over is because of the fact of, with PC, when they come out with a lot of these games, as they come out with the games, you need a stronger and stronger PC.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just saying that, like,
yeah,
it's getting harder and harder for consoles to keep up
yeah.
and to have the prettiest looking machines.
Oh, I know.
But anyway, Scorpio. I think they're gonna put it in at $600, which I think is a mistake. But I don't see how a machine with all the stuff they're saying it's gonna have is gonna cost less. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I think it's going to be the same too. And I mean, part of the reason I think that is because with the PS4 Pro, they were saying with Scorpio that part of the reason they were doing some of the things was so that way it would be more powerful than the PS4 Pro, so they would have the more powerful system.
Yeah.
And which, in my opinion, at that point, it's kind of like so you're in a dick measuring contest and not really caring about whether or not you'll get more money, just about whether or not your product is kind of better. But you really should be focusing more on games and stuff like that, like PlayStation is starting to do, than on who has a more powerful console, and focusing on price point. Because we're at a time where, I mean, jobs aren't the easiest to find, and I mean, people aren't making as much money.
Yep.
So I mean, it's not really a good idea to come out with the more expensive product.
That their wage gap should be increasing.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah. So that's all on Scorpio. Don't know what else they're gonna reveal about it. Aside from the fact that it's like a 4K gaming machine, we don't know if it's gonna run 60 frames per second. Gonna be better than the PS4 Pro. Gonna be highly expensive. Is it gonna be worth it? I don't know. I think it was too soon for Microsoft and Sony to be pushing this stuff out. But again, I think it was pressure from the rise in CPU and computers.
Yes.
The rise in computer gaming and computer technology. Anyway. We'll move on from that to what did Joker say? Yes, he did, Joker.
We're really earning that E on iTunes.
Earning that E explicit rating on iTunes today. Anyway, HoloLens. Do you think Microsoft is gonna talk about HoloLens? Do you think they're gonna bring that out? Do you think it's any further along than, because they've been talking about this and showing demos of it for the last like 2 or 3 years. And like we really haven't heard anything. It's all we keep hearing is it's coming, and then like radio silence, and then it's still coming, it's still happening, it's gonna be great, and then nothing, and it's like, is it gonna happen? Do you think it's gonna be like maybe integrated, a part of Project Scorpio, maybe?
I think if anything, they'll announce that it's coming out within a certain time frame instead of just saying, "Oh, it's coming." I feel like they'll say it's coming out at some point in 2018 or something like that.
Yeah, and the other thing is with augmented reality, I think that'd be really cool for real-time strategy games. But it has to come at a decent price, because I don't think people are gonna want to spend a lot of money just that way they can look on a table and see their game.
Exactly.
Like they showed a demo last year at E3 where it was people looking in at their friends playing Minecraft, and you saw like the Minecraft world on the table. I'm like, that's really cool. But in reality, how often am I going to be like, I'm going to throw on my HoloLens and, one of my friends playing Minecraft, I'm just going to look at his game on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I see that really being worth it is if you've got some kind of party game where everyone can interact.
And, like, everybody can get, like, in on the HoloLens and see the augmented reality
like
play out on the
Like they did something
table.
with, like, Jackbox or something like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm not sold on HoloLens just because I haven't seen enough of it. It looks cool, they've shown off like how you could play Halo Wars on a table and everything, which is cool because like that's the whole point of an RTS. It's almost as if you're over top down looking at it. Like maybe it could work for MOBAs.
Yeah,
maybe. Like maybe like a MOBA like Paragon or Smite. I don't think League of Legends would be like, hey, we're gonna bring in this MOBA where you can like use augmented reality to oversee the entire field, so you're seeing the map and seeing your own thing, and you can command when you zoom in and whatnot. Maybe that'll be cool. I don't know what kind of esports integration that can get, but that could be a cool thing that maybe they do. Mm-hmm. So, but we'll see. Last thing we'll talk about on Microsoft is are there any other things? We'll talk maybe any games you want to see, any predictions, like. Do you think they'll maybe come out with any first-party games, like old first-party games, to try and reintroduce franchises? What do you think? I think they need to. Microsoft's big problem
games.
Games. Like Sony has a lot of good exclusives, and they've been able to pull enough third-party developers to the side to deal like limited exclusivity deals, like with the Destiny with limited time content or early betas on PlayStation, where people are like, well, if both consoles are basically equal in power, and this has got the better exclusives and the better deals are here, I'm gonna pick this console. Like, I think Microsoft really needs to try and turn things around and make things happen, which is why it's crucial that Crackdown 3 needs to be shown and shown that it's not dead.
I think the only other thing they might show that I can think of, but again, it's because, you know, I don't really have an Xbox because I don't have that money, is a new Forza.
Forza could be good. I was thinking maybe it's time to finally bring back Perfect Dark and do an actual good Perfect Dark game.
It'd be nice to do that, but I don't think they're actually doing that.
And there really isn't really that much to bring back. And maybe if you want to help sell, I don't know how this would work, if they can figure it out. Maybe if they want to help sell HoloLens, maybe they bring Fusion Frenzy back. That original Xbox party game that was a lot of fun. But I don't know, like, they really need to. I think they need to work on some exclusives. They need to come out with some good deals. I heard some. I believe it was Jason Finelli or Ray Carcillo, because I listened to their podcast, Ray and Jay podcast. Go check them out, guys, if you want. They have podcasts on various different topics. So one podcast they'll do video games, one podcast they'll do wrestling, and they'll talk WWE. Another podcast they'll talk sports. So go check them out. I was listening to them, and they said maybe they reveal backwards compatibility for not just all Xbox 360 titles, but all original Xbox titles as well. That would help get people on.
Yeah, that would help.
Another Jade Empire game. That would get me interested in Xbox again. I never got to play the first Jade Empire, and it's one of my biggest regrets. If they made a sequel, I'm getting on board with that.
That would be interesting. I think we should move on, though.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to make a final point, but I completely went over my head. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, Microsoft really needs to. They have a lot of work to do this year, because they are losing in the gaming market right now, and it's sad because I loved my Xbox and I loved my Xbox 360, but like
with the Xbox,
I barely
play
my Xbox One.
People. They might announce another Tomb Raider or something too.
Another Tomb Raider would be good, but another Tomb Raider would help, but I don't think Tomb Raider alone.
No, I agree. It's just these are a couple things I think they may mention, just because it's things that they haven't come out with in a little while, and it's things that they have that is exclusive for them now.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on from Microsoft. That's one other thing I just remembered that I was going to close on. Game Pass. Microsoft Game Pass. It's going to be similar to, I think it's how PS Plus does their free games or something like that.
Okay.
Whatever.
Maybe
I might
similar
be
to PS
I don't know if
Now or
it.
something like that. I haven't heard of it.
So maybe they announced some stuff for Game Pass. Yeah. And also, just one other cool thing I think I would like to see in Scorpio, or introducing the Xbox One, maybe bring back the ability to play demos of games before you buy them. And Xbox is also, I think they'll be giving in more details about their refund policy.
Yeah. I know that was one
refunds.
thing Sony was looking to do when they first came out with the PS4, was make it so that way every single game you could play the first however much of it downloaded to try it out as a demo.
Well, you can play a game when it's half downloaded to play it, but like you wouldn't get a refund because you've already purchased the game.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying I heard that they had it where it was like you could play like the first like 10 minutes worth of a game or whatever, and you would download that much of the game as like a little demo to see whether you like it or not. But
anyway, after Sunday, now on Monday, June 12th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern time, that is 2 a.m. in England, will be Sony's press conference, and that's probably going to be the big one where a lot of big stuff happens. I think this Sony is in the driver's seat right now, but depending on how the Scorpio does and how the Scorpio news comes out, they need to come out swinging. They can't rest on their laurels.
Yeah, they need to have a couple good things coming up.
I'm expecting more stuff on The Last of Us 2, a new trailer, maybe some gameplay.
I'm definitely expecting that.
Gameplay probably on the Uncharted. What was that? What's the name of the subtitle of that one that has that stars
Chloe.
No, that stars Chloe, and she was the villain in 3. What the hell is her name?
I don't remember.
But it stars the two of them. I'm expecting to see gameplay from that, and that's two exclusive titles from Naughty Dog.
There's something else that they're coming out with that I know is an exclusive that I'm forgetting right now.
Spider-Man?
No, not Spider-Man.
Because we might see more on Spider-Man, because we haven't really seen much on Spider-Man. There was also that zombie game that they showed last year to close out the show, where like you saw it looked like almost hundreds of zombies swarming a farm. We haven't seen or heard anything from that. Death Stranding will probably get a new trailer, and we might actually finally see gameplay and a reveal and like a date for that. God of War. We'll probably see some new gameplay of that.
Probably see some new gameplay of that, and maybe get some kind of release window for it.
And like rattling these games off, it really does show to me like how vast the difference in the exclusives are between Microsoft and Sony.
And another thing I'll point out that furthers the difference between Microsoft and Sony, they're probably going to announce, and we'll talk about it next week, but just a brief mention, we've mentioned it before, they're probably going to announce a new Assassin's Creed at the Ubisoft, which is earlier in the day than Sony. At Sony, they're probably going to announce that you get exclusives for pre-ordering it on
because Ubisoft almost always does it for Sony, unless Microsoft pulls a coup and gets like Ubisoft back.
But every single Assassin's Creed game, it's always been if you get it on the PlayStation, you get this bonus for getting it on the PlayStation. So they're probably going to do that.
And we'll also probably get, I think Activision is going to have the Bungie guys come on, and they're going to probably announce, I think they're going to announce that the Destiny beta starts for PlayStation users now. Like once they announce it,
the second
beta goes live.
Probably
beta goes live for a week. I think it's going to be a 2-week beta for the week of E3. PlayStation owners will get the beta early, get to play for a week, and then that next Monday or Tuesday, Xbox users will get it. I don't think there's going to be a PC beta, at least not yet, because PC is rumored to be months away.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be first week for PlayStation people. They get it a week early. Then PlayStation users get a second week while the Xbox users get their week. And then they'll probably also put in other like exclusives, and maybe we'll probably see more gameplay.
Yeah.
Like maybe get a tease at the raid or something like that.
I doubt it, but maybe we'll hear something about Twisted Metal since I made a big deal about that for the PS3.
Maybe we might, but I mean, like I was saying, like it's just interesting to see the difference between Sony and Microsoft. We were just talking about Microsoft. We're like, they're gonna announce Halo 6.
Crackdown.
Who knows what that's gonna be? Maybe Cracked. And then we go to PlayStation. We're like, God of War, Death Stranding, Uncharted, Last of Us, and Spider-Man, and we're just naming games off left, right, like it's nothing.
Yep.
But other stuff, we might get maybe some new information on Final Fantasy VII Remake and Kingdom Hearts 3, which have been in development forever. We had that report that they may not come out for another 3 years.
Yeah, that would just
maybe we have an announcement that because it said within the next 3 years, maybe we get a date for like 2019 for them.
Yeah,
maybe 2018 or 2019. Finally, maybe we finally see a new trailer for them.
You know what I would love to see them announce? I have a feeling that they're not going to, but I would love to see announce.
What's that?
A new Infamous game.
Yeah, that would be cool. Sucker Punch. What has Sucker Punch been doing since PS4 came out?
I know they have plans and have kind of been working on another.
I know they came out with the Infamous game with what was it? Was the main character Destin? His name?
Something like that.
When that was when the PlayStation 4 first released, but we haven't heard anything since then.
Yeah,
so maybe
we'll
get a sequel for
Infamous
that.
Second Son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they plan on continuing the series, and I know they've been working on it somewhat, but who knows how much they've been working on it, when the next one will come out. But it'd be nice if we heard something about it, because I know that was a big surprise for me when they first announced Second Son.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of things to be excited about for Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you can think of that they might be doing? Maybe not exactly games related that you would want to see?
They might do more stuff with the PlayStation VR or something.
Yeah, we might see VR. I don't know how prominent VR is going to be this year. Like, part of me is starting to think that VR is starting to fade out and was always just a fad. Because a lot of VR game reviews recently, like Star Trek Bridge Spanner just came out, and the reviews for that were not that great.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, that's a game where, part of the issue is that's for people who are Star Trek fans, and it's also a game that is meant for 4 people. how often do you know of people
Three
that are
other
able
people
to
who are
get
gonna have VR kits.
yeah, 3 other people have VR kits and can get them all together and everything.
Yeah.
That's part of the issue with that. But I mean, there are a lot of games a lot of people are going crazy for with VR. Can't remember the name, but I know there's that one game where everyone always describes it as it makes you feel like you're John Wick, where time is slowed down until you move, and then time moves again when you are actually moving. So if you're looking around, time will like slow down to bullet time and everything. And they came out with it on like consoles and stuff normally, but they also did it as VR, and apparently it's a great experience.
Super Hot?
Yes,
Super Hot. Yeah, Super Hot was good.
So I have a feeling they might do more stuff with that. I think they might start including more indie games involved with it. But, I mean, I'm not sure if they will, but I'm just saying that that's one thing I could see them potentially doing.
That's another thing. PlayStation has always been... Sony, since the PlayStation 3, has always been known for the great indie games. And, like, we'll probably see some interesting indie titles promoted as well. But that's pretty much it from Sony. Like, we didn't talk about Microsoft as long, but that's because we kind of know what to expect from Sony. We think it's going to be good. And we know that they have a great slate of games that we can't wait to see. Like we said, do you think there's anything else that's going to come out from, like, third parties before we move on to Nintendo? Like, we mentioned Activision and Destiny probably coming out. We mentioned Ubisoft. Do you think maybe we're going to get some Call of Duty exclusive announcements?
I don't know, because as far as I can remember, most of Call of Duty, whenever they've usually had exclusives, it's usually been for Microsoft with the Xbox.
Yeah, so maybe that's what Microsoft will get. Maybe something cool with Call of Duty World War II.
Yeah, like they usually get the betas and stuff early on that.
Are there any other big games or franchises or titles coming out I'm thinking of? Where do you think Red Dead is going to come out with Rockstar? If Rockstar shows something, do you think they'll choose Microsoft, or do you think they'll choose PlayStation? Because with Grand Theft Auto, because back in the day, in the 360 era, PlayStation chose to align itself more with Microsoft with its reveals, but once GTA 5 started coming out, they kind of shifted over to PlayStation or Sony, if I remember correctly. So you think they're going to come out at Sony's stage or Microsoft's stage with Red Dead stuff? Or do you think maybe they do both? Maybe a little bit of one, a little bit of another?
I think probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think they might show like one thing on one, and then, we've also got this at another.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing they might be doing with Sony is they might be doing, as they've been doing more and more over the last few years, is of just more and more indie games, as well as the fact that they've been coming out with more and more stuff, like older games, for like available to buy and rent and stuff like that on the more current systems and everything.
So, okay. So, anything else you can think of? Any other big franchises that are coming out that you think maybe where are they going to
go? Nothing that I think will come out, but I can think of one thing that I would love to see come out, but it's probably never going to happen.
What's that?
Suikoden 6.
We still hold on.
Yeah.
No,
it's probably never gonna happen.
Konami's pretty much only creating Metal Gear games,
yeah.
and unless Konami sells the rights to the Suikoden series off to someone, I don't think Suikoden's ever coming back.
The only reason I have some faint hope for it is because of the fact that they've come out with Suikodens 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the last like year and a half on the PlayStation Network. Not just like in the United States, in England, in the UK. In Southeast Asia, in Japan, all those places, they've re-released those games for like $10 each. And you can get it on like PlayStation 3, I think maybe PlayStation 4. I have it myself on the Vita.
Yeah, but re-releases don't correlate to sequels.
I understand, but I'm just hoping that with the huge surge of it.
One last thing before we move on to Nintendo. EA. Do you think they're going to come out with any? Because they're doing EA Play, and that happens before and during the conferences. Do you think they come out with any exclusive announcements for Madden, FIFA, or God? I was just thinking of another game that they have coming out that they might come out with exclusives for. Anything new Battlefield related.
Yeah.
Or Star Wars related, maybe Battlefront 2 related, or maybe like a new. That would be actually a huge snack. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that would be a huge snack for Microsoft if that game that Amy Hennig is making, that's a Star Wars single player related. If they announce they have like some sort of exclusive deal with EA to bring some sort of exclusive content for that.
I don't know how old this information is, but I feel like I remember at some point them announcing that Microsoft was getting an exclusive Star Wars game. That may have been years and years and years ago, but
Maybe it's a new Knights of the Old Republic.
I heard that they might be doing a new Knights of the Old Republic. Who knows? Maybe they'll announce
That
that.
would be huge
I
for
would
Microsoft if that
love
happens.
that. Well, not necessarily for Microsoft, but I think
Well, if
EA
it
might
came out as an
announce it.
exclusive, yeah.
But I think if anything, with the way things have gone, I feel like they would come out with something for Sony.
All right, and we're gonna wrap things up. The next day, 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is noon here in
East
on the East Coast. And for those of you in England, that's going to be 5 p.m. is going to be the Nintendo Direct, where Nintendo will talk all about their Switch stuff. And I gotta tell you, the Switch, like I still want one, but it's been successful. Like a lot more successful than I thought it was going to be. Like I thought it was going to do well, that Nintendo was going to undersupply, so that way demand was there. But I mean, it's still hard to find a Switch. Breath of the Wild, obviously great. Mario Kart 8 got great reviews. ARMS is getting a huge buzz, which is going to drop that week, which we'll see if that ends up being really, really good as well. But I've heard that it's fun to play. Yeah. You've got Super Mario Odyssey coming out.
Splatoon 2.
Splatoon 2. So, like, Nintendo might have some really big announcements to come at this Nintendo Direct that could really, really put Nintendo back on the map, like right up there with Sony and Nintendo again or Microsoft again for the first time in like 4 years.
Yeah, people have been saying it, and I'm gonna say it here before you do. A lot of people are saying there might be new Metroid.
Yep,
might be new Star Fox, and a lot of people have been saying new Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, you're saying that. I've also heard that they might announce a full-fledged first Pokemon game, like true on like Pokemon game for the Switch, because you know you've got the tablet, you can take it as a mobile device and as a tablet with controllers on it. So there's rumors that there's going to be an actual full-on Pokemon game for the Switch as well.
It'd be nice. I don't know if they'll actually do that though,
because
you've been hearing people say that they want Pokemon Skyrim for a long time, but I don't know if that's going to happen, or at least anytime soon.
I don't know if they're going to do it that. I don't think it's going to be like Breath of the Wild meets Pokemon. I'm saying like
Pokemon
the handheld...
Go?
No, not like Pokemon Go. What I'm saying is like a Pokemon X or Y or a Pokemon Sun and Moon, like traditional Pokemon game, but on the Switch.
I don't know if they'll do it for the Switch, but I think they would possibly announce a new one for...
I think they're going to do it on the Switch, systems. But I think they will also make a 3DS version. But I think they need to make a Pokemon... Like
kind of like how this last time they did the Wii U and 3DS Super Smash Brothers, how they had one for each game.
And like Mario Kart 8, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, honestly, the second they announced the Switch and they showed that you can just pick it up and go, I thought Pokemon. You've got to get a traditional Pokemon on there, because then I can have my regular mobile Pokemon adventures, but I can snap it into a console and play Pokemon on the big screen.
Yeah, they might do that.
And that's what a lot of people were hoping with Wii U as well, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, of course, Super Smash Bros. Will be popular. Some people think maybe they just port Super Smash Bros. Wii U onto Switch, and it's just Super Smash Bros. Switch. Same thing, like what they did with Mario Kart 8. Where it's like basically Smash Bros. Wii U, but it's got all the DLC characters while they start developing a new Smash Bros. for the Switch.
Well, I feel like they may have been developing a new Smash Bros. For a little bit of time now.
It might be a ways away, though. It may still be a year or two away.
Yeah,
so...
but they still might announce it.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Maybe new Fire Emblem.
They need a new Metroid game. And hopefully it's better than Other M, because Other M was bad. What else was there? What else did you talk about? Star Fox?
Star Fox, maybe.
The last Star Fox wasn't really received too well, so I don't know if Star Fox might be dead as a franchise to me. It might not have many legs, or it might have to go away for a while.
Yeah.
Do you think they might bring back another...
Before, they had to go away for a while, but who knows? I mean, with this new system, they might do it.
Do you think maybe they bring back F-Zero? Bring the F-Zero game?
I don't think they'll do that, because, I mean, it's more of a racing game, and they got all their horses with, like, Mario Kart right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, maybe a new Fire Emblem or something.
Maybe.
Who knows?
So yeah, they're looking good. They need some more new IPs. Like ARMS could work.
They might actually also announce that new rumored Mario / Rabbids thing.
Yeah, they might announce that, which could be a partnership with Ubisoft, and maybe that's part of Ubisoft being like, a lot of our games are coming to to Nintendo and stuff like that, or something like that.
Ooh. Well, we'll save that because that'll be for next week anyway. I thought of something for Ubisoft, but
yeah,
anyway.
we'll save that for next week. Third party though, as we're talking about Ubisoft, do you think there are going to be any major third party announcements from the Nintendo during the Nintendo Direct?
I don't know about major, but I mean, other than like their own thing, I mean, the only other thing I've really heard of is people have been saying they want like FIFA and stuff, but apparently they may be getting a FIFA game, but not the kind
Not
like
FIFA,
more
FIFA.
like what you would expect out of Wii Sports kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this gets brought up every single year. Like Nintendo, I just don't think they care. Not that they don't care much for third parties. I just think that Nintendo and third party games and third party developers just don't mix.
Yeah,
Because they both have they're both aiming for different demographics. I think Nintendo has its own style and its own way of making games and doing things, and it integrates their console to work with those games. And the way the third party developers make and create their games doesn't mesh well with the Nintendo vision.
one thing that reminds me of is Skyrim.
Is that still supposed to come out, or did that already come out for the Switch?
I'm not sure if it came out for the Switch, but they may be announcing more stuff from Bethesda or something.
Maybe we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, lots of good stuff. Maybe some new 3DS games. It would be cool also, since we're talking about like Pokemon. Would be interesting to see if we got a new Ace Attorney game, Phoenix Wright game,
that'd be good
on the Switch, or maybe even a Professor Layton game on the Switch. Maybe start moving some of those mobile franchises over to the Switch as well.
Yeah. And they may just start doing away with mobile because they have the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you think they're going to announce an SNES Classic?
ooh, I forgot about that. Yeah, if they're going to be doing it, I feel like they're going to announce it at E3.
Yeah. I think what they'll do is they might say we apologize for people for not meeting the demand of the NES Classic, but we will be having an SNES Classic, and we promise to roll out more of those than we did with the NES Classic.
Yeah.
So that'll be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we actually need to do this main event, Eric Young versus Roderick Strong, because I think that's pretty much it for Nintendo. I don't think there's really anything else, unless there's any other talking points you can think of.
One other thing I thought of when I mentioned, Bethesda might have something new for the Switch. Like, who knows, they might bring Fallout 4 to the Switch or something. It reminded me of last year, they announced Fallout 4 VR. That might come into play with if they do more VR stuff with the PlayStation, more talk and more reveal about Fallout 4 VR.
Yeah. Maybe.
But time will tell.
But that's pretty much it. That's all we've got on the big three. I don't really think there's much else to be expected from Nintendo. Nintendo's got all of its hardware out.
Yep.
It's gonna be good though. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. Pretty much like we said, like Nintendo's in a great place to put themselves right up there with Sony, especially Microsoft, maybe even surpass Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't have a good show. Microsoft are the ones who, once again, have to come out and have a great show. They need to show really good games. They need to show they can follow through on really good games. Again, also, one other thing that hurts them that I heard, Sea of Thieves, which is that really promising game from Rare, that pirate game, heard that it's subscription-based. Yeah.
I did just remember something though, and I think this one thing might be able to win it for Microsoft. Because, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I've heard that they might be working on this sequel, third in a trilogy of this game series, and if I remember correctly, I think the first two games have only been on Xbox. Left 4 Dead.
Left 4 Dead 3. Yeah, Valve's kind of been quiet. Valve really hasn't been doing much as far as developing games.
And I've heard some rumors
Half-Life 3
that they
confirmed.
might be doing that.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah.
Xbox One exclusive. Project Scorpio exclusive. You heard it here first.
No, but I have been hearing word that there's been code words and stuff like that out there, and that seems like Left 4 Dead 3 may actually be secretly in the making. And that would be huge for Microsoft if that were the case.
Honestly, Valve's got Steam. Steam operates on PC, which is run by Windows, owned by Microsoft. If Microsoft came out to their press conference and said, guess what, everybody? We have an exclusive deal with Valve that we're bringing these new games only exclusively to the Xbox One and Windows PC and Windows computers, and then out came Left 4 Dead 3 and Half-Life 3, Microsoft's back in the game.
Yeah, I think they would basically be running it.
Microsoft is back in the game. They are
Imagine
back.
if they could make a deal where they start making games that come out for things like Steam and stuff like that exclusive and able to be bought and come out with on the Xbox. Like imagine Sony not having access to games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Microsoft having it on the Xbox and you're able to play that. If they were to come out with something like that,
console too,
then because they've been last year they were starting to promote, especially with Gears of War, the cross-platform play.
And, Microsoft also doesn't have their own store, so and I don't think they sell them on Steam. So maybe they'd be like, and also you can get all these great first-party Xbox games like Gears of War 4, Halo 5, and others, or whatever they announce in the future, on Steam first on the PC.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
Boom! Mind blown. We just thought of that right there.
Yeah,
that would be like honestly if that happens. That
TM copyright Microsoft. If you and Valve and all them decide to do this, you could pay us first.
We are patiently waiting here at the table for
and
our
it's recorded.
Checks.
It's recorded.
Yeah. We are waiting here for our checks. So and we will be waiting here. Like we won't be eating, we won't be sleeping, we won't be drinking anything.
I need that money.
So please give us that check quickly.
Just like Heath Slater. I got kids.
You got kids, yeah.
I got kids. I need this money. All right, I need this copyright.
But that's a good note to end on. Nice impact, nice little prediction. Maybe Valve and Microsoft are working together, and we will have the mind blow of the century. That would be the trump card, the ace in the hole that Microsoft would need.
Yeah.
To just stun everyone. Be like, Left 4 Dead 3's happening, Half-Life 3's happening, and it's coming to PC and Xbox One exclusively.
Another wrestling reference. Microsoft will just be like, bop and bang.
Oh, boy. Or it'll be like an RKO coming from out of nowhere.
That too.
Ooh,
no, this is a good way to end it. Did you see the newest video of Randy Orton on Facebook?
No.
It was him. Just sitting by the side of his pool, you see his kid do a flip into a pool.
Did he RKO his kid?
He RKO'd his kid as his kid jumped into the pool. You see his kid run and get a jumping start and go to dive, and he just jumps out and RKO's his kid into a pool. It was pretty great.
All right. Well, on that note, we are hoping for Microsoft's sake and the sake of the gaming industry that
I'd rather be Sony, but whatever.
That Microsoft does the same and pulls an RKO out of nowhere at E3. Sony's in a good spot. Nintendo's on the rise. It's going to be a good year for E3. Next week, we will be reviewing Extreme Rules, going over our predictions, seeing if I rightfully defend and retain this championship or if you take it from me.
Mm-hmm.
We will also be doing E3 predictions for all the third parties. So EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, those three all have press conferences. A PC gaming show will probably be going over as well. And then people like Capcom, Atlas, Square Enix, all those companies, we will be finding out whether or not what we think they're going to be bringing to the table.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't happen to catch the stream live and you want to ask us questions and know our thoughts on things, like the guys in chat will occasionally ask us, send emails to supergrapplebros, all one word, all lowercase, @gmail.com. Email us your questions and we'll try to pick some out and answer them during the show. We want to start doing that, interacting with you guys more than just on the chat. So if you're on YouTube or if you're listening on SoundCloud or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, be sure to send an email that way. As I just said, if you're watching us live on Twitch or on the VOD on Twitch, we are also on VOD format on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. That is at youtube.com/RealLMurpho. We also are on SoundCloud and iTunes, both at Super Grapple Bros. Be sure to leave us a review on iTunes, because the more reviews we get on iTunes, the more likes we get on SoundCloud, the more exposure the podcast will get, and we appreciate you guys for helping out the podcast.
Gotta try and get like that. The McElroy brothers will be in Trolls 2. Guessing you haven't heard about that.
No, I didn't.
Griffin and Justin McElroy. They do their own podcast with their brother and all that. They have decided that they will be in Trolls 2. And they started a podcast based off of it. And they have such a grassroots campaign going that they released the second episode of it this week. and it made it to #1 in the comedy podcast charts and #3 in the overall podcast charts for the entire week.
Yeah, see, so if you guys do that for us, do that similar kind of grassroots stuff by helping us out, we will rise up in the ranks. More people will see us. More people will get to hear us talk about nerdy stuff like wrestling and video games and see what big marks and geeks we are.
Yep.
You can also, if you're listening to this on iTunes or SoundCloud or watching us on YouTube, find us, watch us live, join in on the chat discussion at twitch.tv/L_Murpho. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Appreciate you all as we do every single week. I have been El Murpho, aka Mike Murphy.
I've been DMurph, aka Dennis Murphy.
And that brings episode 9 of the Super Grapple Bros podcast to a close.
Yep.
See you guys next week.
Yep.
Peace. Deuces. Still doing the deuces thing. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Shut up and sit down.